Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Helene. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is gonna be a multi-part mini-series on my channel, reading the Throne of Glass series. Grab a fun drink, come hang out with me. It's gonna be a good time. I'm like this far into it. So I'm gonna keep reading and I'll keep you updated. I got a new light and I'm so excited because we're gonna have so many more fun angles with actually high quality resolution. I don't know the terms. I'm trying my best here, but I'm super excited. Yeah, I'm a bit a ways in and I'm super liking it. I loved when Selena wrote the letter to Dorian begging him to let her read some of those books in the library, and that his response was basically, here are my favorite books and you better be prepared to talk to me about them. So cute. Okay, if I mess up the pronunciation of some of these names, I'm so sorry. I found a website with the pronunciations of these characters' names, and I'm really hoping it's right because I'm going straight off of that. So if I'm wrong, please correct me nicely or I'll cry. But Princess Nehemia, she sounds like an icon. She sounds so cool. I want them to be besties. That would be amazing. I would love a little ally for her through this difficult time. That would be so good. Oh my god. Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but a book just flew off my shelf. That scared me. The shelf they're on used to be for paints, and I turned it into a bookshelf. It's not as stable as it could be. Okay, this is also so random, but I thought Dorian was like older. My guess was 25. He's 19 years old. I guess because they were like talking about like marriage and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, he must be older. But I forget they're like royalty people who actually, like, since he's a prince, he kind of lives to eventually marry and have an heir. I'm obsessed with these new cute angles I can do. I'm so proud of Selena for how she handled Kane revealing to her, like, how he knows who she actually is. I don't know how he knows, and I was really scared for a second that she was just gonna like start swinging or something, but I'm proud of her. She held back, especially because the princess was there and she didn't want to cause a scene. Good on her. And I'm so impressed with how well she kicked Varen's butt at the test. Iconic. Like, I know she's an assassin and I know she trained her whole life for this, but like, being that good is very impressive. Okay, and then we just never got any more information as to why she was the only one not invited to the feast. Like, she discovered that, and then it's like that just never happened. Like, there was no other elaboration on that. Like, what happened? I would have been running straight to Kale and kicked his little butt or something. I don't know. Like, why was she the only one not there when he emphasized that she's not invited, even though every other champion was invited? Like, what? He definitely has a crush on her, though. I'm calling it. He definitely has a crush on her. I'm also seeing, like, I can totally see them being a little enemies to lovers situation, and that would be so fun. Okay, so we're done. Loved it. Had so much fun. This was a lot more fantasy than ACOTAR was, so I can definitely see how if someone who went straight from A Court of Silver Flames to this, I can see how they might not like it, especially if they were really into ACOTAR for the romance that was happening. We did not get a romantic conclusion, which is so valid, especially for a fantasy book. That's not what I expect, but I can see how someone who loved ACOTAR and was looking for that would be not super happy with how this book ended, just in the romance category. But the fantasy elements, gorgeous, so good. I think she wrote this book when she was around like 16 years old, so extremely impressive. For a very first book, no complaints whatsoever. Super exciting. I got really into it. It was really, really good. Parrington telling everybody Selena's business was making me so angry, but I did think it was so funny that he ended up tricking Kaltain into poisoning Selena's goblet before their battle. Like, he totally fooled her, and I thought that was so funny, especially because like she kind of bothered me a bit, and I got really mad when she actually like poisoned the goblet, because that's not fair. That's so not fair. That's not nice. That's not fair. I don't like that. She got her instant karma, which was great. Interesting that the Duke and the King were trying to influence Cain and Kaltain. I really want to learn more about that, and I hope they elaborate more later on. It does not surprise me at all that the King was scheming. But yeah, overall, I'm super impressed. Again, this was her first book, her first published book, so I am thoroughly impressed. I would give this a solid 4.25. I was super invested in the storyline and everything. There were some moments where I could definitely tell it was like a first book. Maybe not a first book, but just younger vibes. She was just so young writing it. Like, that's insane. I had such a good time. Definitely a good start to the entire series as a whole. I feel like Roland's arrival is going to be a really big problem, especially because the King has so much influence over him. I feel like he can easily become just one of his little minions. I am happy though that Roland did end up canceling the vote after Dorian stormed out. I give him points back. Maybe he just needs a little nudge in the right direction, just like Dorian said. I think that he can become a great ally for them. I definitely have a soft spot for Archer and his backstory and everything. He seems like a sweet dude. We'll see how his character progresses from here. I totally see Kale and Selena being a thing though, especially after the little dance scene. I mean, come on. She said she felt like she was finally home in his arms. Too cute. The flashback to Endovier and what Selena had gone through broke my heart. So incredibly sad. That kind of sparked my thought about fantasy books telling history for like high school. I feel like that would be a really great way to get people more interested and also be more empathetic to some things that people experienced in real life. But yeah, loving it so far. It's a lot more chill to me than Throne of Glass, just because I feel like Trials is so like scary and you're constantly preparing to try not to die. So this vibe, I'm liking it a lot better. I'm also just a lot more invested now than I was previously. I honestly felt like Nehemia had no right to call Selena selfish and a coward for not helping her try to raise an army. I feel like after everything she's gone through, she deserves to be selfish and she deserves to want to just work towards her freedom. I don't know, she's so tied down being the king's assassin. There really is not much she can do without everybody in her life being so I don't know, I felt like she was a little out of line for saying that to Selena. And Kale hiding that information from Selena, which ultimately led to the princess's death. He messed up big time. He fully deserves the silent treatment for that. And then the witch fight scene, that was crazy. I saw that coming, but I also didn't see that coming. My jaw was on the floor. And Kale finding that Selena actually was gonna leave all of her assets to Kale after everything, and that she is not even gonna change the will. She's literally just gonna leave it like that. Like, wow. The ending was crazy. I was not expecting that. I did not see that coming at all. I have few words. I'm so angry at Archer for his betrayal. I thought he was a good dude. But then again, I should have seen it coming. The clues were there that pointed otherwise. It's actually awful how much he set up everything to go how it did. It sounds like we're getting a whole new change of scenery, which reminds me a lot of ACOTAR, how the second book, kind of the first, but like especially the second book had left off. I hope we aren't completely ditching Dorian and Kale. I hope we still get context in the next books about what they're up to. Overall though, I am so much more immersed in the story and invested. I am truly blown away with the fantasy elements in this story. It feels like a real place. I am waiting on the edge of my seat to find out what happens next. Hello, this is future Helene coming in. Upon editing this, I realized I didn't actually give a rating to Crown of Midnight. I would give this a 4.5. I liked it better than Throne of Glass for sure. I could definitely tell that Sarah J. Maas was coming into her writing style a lot more. It felt a lot less like a first book, which naturally this is the second one. Lots of action, lots of excitedness, high stakes going on, and yeah, back to the present. So this concludes part 1 of my reading the Throne of Glass series. There's gonna be 3 parts, I believe. One of them is gonna be a bit longer because I'm actually gonna be tandem reading Tower of Dawn, and the other one you can tandem read, and so that's gonna be a whole fun thing in itself. But I absolutely loved how these 2 books went, how they set up the rest of the story to go. I'm so happy that I finally got to reading this series. After ACOTAR, I really was nervous about starting this series because I wanted to like it as much as I did ACOTAR, and lived up to my standards for sure. Stay tuned for the next part of this series. We're starting with Heir of Fire, which is the third book. And then I think we're going into Assassin's Blade, which is fun. That's like technically the prequel of this whole series, I believe. Thank you again so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.